Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's Dustin Kreis, and today we are going to do the games of 2016. 2016 was a very big year. A lot of life changes. I really kind of stopped the collecting bug. And as such, a lot of new releases have sort of slipped. I wouldn't say slipped out of my grasp because I can pick them up at any time, but I skipped out on a lot of new releases because a lot of changes buying a house. There's going to be a lot of changes in 2017. Going to have a child. So the whole collecting of video games has kind of taken a secondary, maybe even a third, tertiary level of importance. So a lot of things I missed out on. But I did play a stack of 14 games here, completed them. Well, two of them I didn't complete, but I played enough of them to sort of fit them into the list. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know what's going to be happening in the coming year. Still going to be playing video games. Still be doing all that, but the pickups of new releases is probably going to trickle down to almost nothing. I have a couple things here that I've picked up, and I have a couple things on my list, but I'm waiting for them to get like $20 range. So there's a couple things I'm going to pick up on day one, though. I am going to get near on day one, but a lot of the other things I think I'm just going to kind of sit back and wait on. But anyway, these are the games I played, and I've put them in sequential order. So we're going to go from quote-unquote the worst to the best. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. And in last place is a game that I put in, I had fun with, but I had fun with because I was playing with somebody else, not so much because of the game. It really solidified the fact that I'm done with this style of gameplay. I've played a lot of other games with this style, and I just don't care for it anymore. It's just not, I don't know, there's just something about it that's just not fun anymore. And so number 14 on the games of 2016 list is Resident Evil 5. Had a good time playing with my buddy, we had some laughs, but really, this does not make me want to go out and get Resident Evil 6. I am interested in seeing what 7's all about, but again, I'm going to wait for that $20 mark. But yeah, this style of survival horror gameplay with like Shadows of the Damned and The Enemy Within, that kind of stuff. I'm just done with it. I don't really care for that style of gameplay anymore. So, but yeah, it was fun while I played it, but it's not something that really stuck with me. Doesn't make me want to go back and, like, honestly, back in the day, I loved Resident Evil 4. I never want to play Resident Evil 4 again because I'm scared that all those good memories of playing Resident Evil 4 are going to be ruined because I'm just so sick of playing games like this. So I'm going to choose not to. And, what can you say? It was all right. We didn't finish it because the last boss is really cheap. But, it is what it is. If you liked it, I'm glad you liked it, but not... I don't really care for Resident Evil anymore. Probably on the list of biggest disappointments, and I'm really planning on going back and playing this some more. I haven't done a game video on it yet because I haven't finished it. And really, like, after the first game, I was so stoked for this one coming out, and then I got it, and while it had all the gameplay elements of the first game, it was missing the soul. There's just something hugely missing in this game. And I can't quite put my finger on it, but it was a massive disappointment for me, and I think for a lot of people as well. And that's Xenoblade Chronicles X. Xenoblade Chronicles, I can sit here and talk about what an amazing experience from beginning to end that game is. Chronicles X takes everything that was great about it and just removes, like, the story. Like, the story is told in such a disjointed, like, MMO style that it didn't really connect with me at all. And while the gameplay is still great, the environments are huge and almost too big. The environments are too big in this game. Hopefully with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, when it comes out, they rein it back in a little bit and inject what was missing in this one, which is a really awesome story. I do want to go back to it and play it some more, try to get through it, but I was really disappointed with this one. It looks great, sounds great, but it's just missing the soul of Xenoblade 1. And it's hard to understand how important that is until it's missing. And I don't know. Maybe it's just I haven't given it its fair shake. Maybe it was just the initial disappointment with it just kind of stuck with me and made me not like it. I'm going to go back and, like I said, try it some more. But I was just really, really disappointed with it. And hopefully when I replay it again this year sometime, when I put it back in, hopefully it sticks with me a little bit more. But I was really disappointed with Xenoblade Chronicles X. Next up is a shooter that I've been wanting to play for a very long time. This game's been around for a while. And finally, when I got this PS4 remaster of it, I finally threw it in and had a really great time with it. We're getting to the point here where none of these games, all these games are good. It's just how much did I enjoy them. These two games right here were, Resident Evil, which I'm pretty much done with anyway, and then just a huge disappointment. But from here on out, these are all games that I really enjoyed and really had a great time with. And that game is Metro 2033 Redux. I really love the atmosphere of this game. The gameplay it's a little older, it's a little bit more sluggish than people are used to in shooters nowadays, but that really adds to it, I think. It adds to the atmosphere. This game is dripping with just amazing post-apocalyptic atmosphere, and it really does benefit a lot from the graphical upgrade. It really does. I mean, it doesn't look as great as shooters made specifically for the PlayStation 4, but it definitely looks a lot better than the PS3 version. I really had a great time with this. I love the lore of the series. The gameplay was really good. The story was really interesting. I really want to get to Last Light, but I started Last Light, and then I got sidetracked on something else and got hooked on it. But I really want to go back and finish Last Light, and this is a series I kind of hope they continue, because if they keep making really good games in the series, I think it would be one of those, not a big blockbuster series, but a really good niche series. People that really like it. But yeah, Metro 2033, just a shooter that's dripping with atmosphere, and for me, that's pretty perfect. I thought it was really good. So let's see, it's 14, 13, 12. At number 11, Chance is going to be really upset with me on this one, but this is a really good game. It's a really good game, but I just burnt myself out on it because I was trying to 100% all the levels, and then I just kind of got sick of it. I should have just played it through for the storyline, which is actually pretty interesting. And the gameplay is fast and furious and great, but I had to take a break from it because I was just getting so frustrated trying to 100% the levels. And that game is the new Doom. Looks great, plays fast and furious, a really awesome throwback to how shooters used to be. But like I said, I burnt myself out on it trying to 100% things. And then it really started to detract from the experience. These levels in this game are huge. The secrets are many. And finding them all and doing everything right to get them, it gets a little tedious. And it got a little tedious for me. But, if you were to just play through it for the storyline, then go back and do the 100%ing stuff, you'd probably have a better time than I did. I'm not saying this game is bad. This game is great. It's a really fun shooter. It's just, for where I was at the time when I was playing it, I got really burned out on it and just did not want to continue playing it for a little while. So, again, this is probably one that I get back to sometime this year when I'm looking just to play something fast and furious. And hopefully it'll capture me a little bit better than what it did. But that being said, don't pass up on Doom because I'm saying, I got burned out on it. It's a really good game. Don't take what I'm saying to mean this is a bad game. None of these games from here on out are bad. They're just varying degrees of awesome. That's really a good sign of a year when you can look at all these games and just say these are varying degrees of awesome. So next up is one that I started playing and got kind of again burned out on it, and then put it down, and then picked it back up and just blew through it. I like when I picked it back up later in the year, I just stormed through this game and really really dug it. I really love this series. Can't wait for the next one to come out. Etrian Odyssey 5, I think. Yes, 5 is going to be the next one coming out. I don't know if they're going to do an Untold 3, but I really do like these Untold versions of the game. But Etrian Odyssey Untold 2, the Fafnir Night. There's just something about the first-person dungeon crawling experience that I really, really dig. I want to go back, and I have a bunch of them on the DS and different systems. I want to go back and play them. It's just finding the time to play these games, because these games can get extremely long and extremely grueling in places. Luckily, with the Etrian Odyssey games, you can kind of lower the difficulty level if you want. Because I'm not going to lie, things get pretty rough in these games. Especially with Persona Q, which is basically Shin Megami Tensei Persona plus Etrian Odyssey. There's just something about that game that I can't do. Like, I like my Persona and I like my Etrian Odyssey, but I don't like them combined. But this game was really awesome. I really had a great time with it. I don't know how hard it is to find these. Sometimes these Atlas releases are hard to find. But if you're thinking about getting into these first-person dungeon crawlers, Etrian Odyssey Untold 1 and Untold 2 are a great place to start. I still see them in my GameStop, but I live in a small town. I don't know about the big cities and everything. But they're really a great place to start with these. And then you can get into things like the Dark Spire and Class of Heroes and things like that. But really had a great time with it. Really lengthy game. And it gets so addictive drawing the maps. Like, you wouldn't think that'd be the best part of a video game, but that's the part I remember most about this, and the part I enjoy the most is mapping out the dungeon. There's just something about that. And it kind of goes back to playing Super Metroid back in the day. I had to complete the map, the auto map that you did. Even if there was a speck of blue on that auto map, I had to go to it and figure out how to get to it so I can make it pink. There's just something about completing maps in games I have to do. And Etrian Odyssey makes it super addictive and also kind of super rewarding as well. So definitely check that out if you haven't. Next up is a digital release. And this one, I think, topped a lot of people's lists. And I was really surprised by it. But at the same time, I don't know, there's just other things that I played that I enjoyed more. And that's Salt and Sanctuary. And Salt and Sanctuary is basically 2D Dark Souls. They took basically all the gameplay elements of Dark Souls and just made a 2D Metroidvania game out of it. I know people hate that term, but it's a nice shorthand. It works really well. I was really surprised at actually how well it was going to work with the 2D, because a lot of times in Dark Souls you really need that third dimension to kind of circle around an enemy, and I was thinking, like, man, if this is going to be like Dark Souls in 2 dimensions, I can see getting caught in the corner of the screen happening quite a bit, and it does, but the enemies are definitely well designed enough that they leave you room to maneuver if you know what you're doing. And I was really surprised at just how good Salt and Sanctuary was. Because, I don't know. I guess I was thinking it to be just some kind of cheap knockoff. But these guys really did a good job. And I think, if I remember correctly, the development team that made the game is only 2 people. If I remember correctly. I don't know if I'm remembering correctly or not. But yeah, Salt and Sanctuary, if you've loved the Dark Souls series and you're looking for something else to play, get on the digital store on PSN, download it, play it. Fantastic game. Really, really dripping with atmosphere. Really challenging and rewarding gameplay. Especially like with the platforming stuff. Like, it really brought back like that Castlevania Metroid feel with having to platform up to get to difficult or to get to hidden areas. Really great game. Definitely check it out. I don't know what number we're on, but next is a game that can be a massive time investment. In fact, I'm going to play the second part of the game sometime this year, and that is Fire Emblem Fates Birthright. I played the Birthright edition. I downloaded Conquest as soon as I finished it, and I'm going to get back to it sometime this year. This game, I absolutely loved it. It was a little bit of a disappointment for me because it wasn't a big evolution of the series quite like Awakening was. Awakening really took everything that was Fire Emblem and just like amped it up to 11. Whereas Birthright is a little bit more of a refinement than a revolution. But that being said, Fire Emblem, I'm so happy that this series is finally catching on over here, because for the longest time it felt like we were just missing out completely on Fire Emblem. And now it seems like Nintendo is really invested in bringing these over here. The next Fire Emblem game, Echoes, is going to be coming out here soon, which, my God, I'm going to be so behind because I'm going to play Echoes and I'm going to play Conquest. And it's just, wow, too much Fire Emblem. But I guess that's a good problem to have, is having too many Fire Emblem games to play as opposed to not enough. But anyway, a really great storyline. People say the Conquest storyline is a lot better. I'm really excited to see that. But you're a fairly traditional good guy, bad guy Fire Emblem story, whereas I think the Conquest story is a little bit more shades of gray. So that'll be interesting to see. But a great strategy RPG. Probably my favorite strategy RPG. I like Final Fantasy Tactics. I like Tactics Ogre. I like that style, but there's just something about Fire Emblem and the balance of the levels. It never feels... It feels challenging, but it never really feels overwhelming. You kind of see what you need to do. It's just a matter of making it happen, and that's what I like about Fire Emblem. So Fire Emblem Fates Birthright, check it out if you haven't. It's a great, great strategy RPG. Next up is a game that I never thought we would get. I thought this would have been completely skipped over. I'm glad. Glad's not really the right word. I'm super excited that this series is making like its fourth comeback in the West. Hopefully everyone's supporting it so it sticks around. And the next game is Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past. I just played the PS1 version of this the year before, and I was a little worried that when this came out, I was going to not really want to play it and maybe feel burned out by it and stuff. But I gotta tell you, this is the perfect version of this game. It's on the go, so you can play it whenever. You can kind of attack it in short chunks. They've sped up the pace a little bit. Leveling jobs is much easier in this game. This still is a massive RPG. I think I'm somewhere around the 70-hour mark in it. And I'm not anywhere near the end because I'm trying to level out all the jobs, which is easier to do in this version, but at the same time, it still takes a while to do. But this is just a fantastic game. I'm glad that this exists because it takes Final Fantasy VII, God. It takes Dragon Quest VII, which was kind of an ugly PS1 RPG, especially for when it came out late in the PlayStation's life cycle. Gives it a fresh coat of paint and really allows it to shine, because I think that's what held a lot of people back on Dragon Quest VII, was that it was just this ugly PS1 RPG that was really expensive to get your hands on, and then it wasn't really like a nice show-off piece, And then with this, you get the nice, beautiful graphic overhaul, the quickening of the pace of the storyline, and then it still has that same great story, because the story for Dragon Quest VII is actually one of the darker storylines, especially when you start to get into the individual town storylines and the multiple sometimes storylines for certain people take multiple quests to finish, and it really is nice to see it, but usually they always kind of end sadly. This is a very sad Dragon Quest game, and Dragon Quest is usually known for its like bubbly, cutesy atmosphere, but this is a really dark one and a really kind of a sad one, and definitely I think everyone should check this out, give it a shot, buy it. So Square Enix will continue to bring Dragon Quest games out here. I'm being very selfish right now. Buy Dragon Quest, because I want more Dragon Quest games. I want Dragon Quest 11. If they bring out Dragon Quest 10, which I don't think they ever will because it's an online RPG, we'll see. But I definitely want 11. The next game is a game that I skipped for a long time, and then finally they released this big collector's version that has like all the expansions on it, and I got sucked into it. I haven't got the newest expansion for it because I'm kind of done with it. I kind of got my money out of it. My friend wants me to jump on and start leveling up my character again, but that game is Destiny, and this is the Taken King Legendary Edition version, which I don't know why it's Legendary Edition. It's just a basic game, but anyway, doesn't matter. I got sucked into this. I was really resisting it, and at the same time, I was also really bummed because I didn't buy an Xbox One, and I was like, "Damn it, I'm going to miss out on Halo." I really do like the Halo series, and it always bums me because I haven't bought an Xbox One. I don't really plan on buying one either. I'm going to miss out on Halo, but this really scratched the itch. Really a fantastic game, a lot of stuff to do. A little bit difficult for me because I don't play online with a lot of people, so like the the raids. Yeah, the raids. I'm not able to do the raids because I can't get a party of 6 together because I just don't play online with people that much, so I don't have the social network to do it. But anyway, I got to play a lot of the stuff in it. I really enjoyed my time with it. Really just got addicted to grinding for gear, and I'm not a gear grinder. I like Chance and Steven talk about playing Diablo 3 like over and over again to grind for gear, and I'm like, I'm done with that. No way. But I can understand it in Destiny, and I got really sort of addicted to it and doing quests, and really, really good game. Really kind of miffed that I waited so long to play it. But when Destiny 2 comes out, I'll definitely pick it up and get into it a little sooner. The next one, if you're a longtime watcher of the channel, this might be a surprise to you that it is in the 5th position, number 5. But the top 5, I mean, the top 5 games, this is the creme de la creme. This is like all these 5 of these games are mind blowing. Number 5 is Trails in the Sky second chapter. The wait for this game was just so long, and then when we finally got it and I got to play it, it paid off so well. Really just a fantastic storyline. I can't speak enough of the Trails series by Falcom. First chapter just blew me away with its storyline, and second chapter didn't disappoint at all. It was just a fantastic story, fantastic conclusion. Really felt for the characters. Really got invested in the characters and the storyline of this area. And I'm really looking forward to third chapter. Unfortunately, it's going to be a Steam-only release, so I'll have to play it on PC, but I'm going to do it. And in fact, I might even re-download first and second chapter on Steam and replay those, and then play the third. So I kind of want to do that, but at the same time, it takes away from other games that I could be playing. I've already played first chapter and I've already played second chapter, so I might not do it. But part of me wants to do it just to support this series. But a fantastic, I don't want to say conclusion because obviously the third comes out, but it kind of concludes the initial story of Estelle and Joshua. And where they go from here, I don't know, but I really had a great time with it. It was a little weird playing an old PSP game, but it felt right. It felt right to have a new release be a PSP game. And of course, I did play it on my PSP, so I could continue my save from first chapter. But really a great game. If you guys haven't played the Trails in the Sky series, they're on Steam, they're on PSN. The cat is messing with the door. Definitely go out and buy them and play them. They are lengthy RPGs, but I swear to you, they are some of the best RPGs you will ever play. They really make it feel like an old school PS1 Super Nintendo RPG in the best way. So, number 5 with a bullet, Trails in the Sky, second chapter. Okay, here we go. Number 4. If you guys have been a long watcher to the channel, you know I had a very hate, now love relationship with this series. So much so that I tried to get my girlfriend into it, and she played the first game and got, pretty far, and then she got to a certain boss that she just can't get past, and has decided to put it up for a little bit because it was just, I have never seen someone get so angry at a television screen before. But the next game I'm going to talk about is Dark Souls 3. And I also have the DLC for this, Ashes of Arendelle. This is pretty much I would say this is like the perfect Dark Souls. A lot of people say that Dark Souls 1 is the best. Dark Souls 1 is definitely the most challenging. Dark Souls 2 is a lot easier, which I think is funny that I say that now because Dark Souls 2 was the one that broke me a couple years ago. And then this one kind of falls somewhere in between the challenge and then the accessibility of Dark Souls 2. So I would say because I mean the storyline you can kind of miss if you don't pay attention. So if you're someone that's like looking to play Dark Souls, I would definitely say start with Dark Souls 3 and play it. Because I mean the storyline, you have to kind of dig for the storyline in these games, so it doesn't really matter. And this one has definitely the best gameplay out of all of them. Really had a great time with it. I'm already playing a new game plus and kind of slowly making my way through it every now and then. I'm also replaying Dark Souls 1 at the same time, so every now and then I'll just throw one of these in and play it. But there's a lot of stuff in here I still need to uncover. I'm watching videos on YouTube like all the time about like lore and storylines of this game. They get very addictive once you start digging into the lore and you kind of want to know why things are the way they are. Really just really great game. Part of me kind of hopes they make another Dark Souls. Maybe give the series a little time to breathe. Because it's basically From's been basically doing Dark Souls game for like the last, I don't know, when did Demon Souls come out? 2008? Something like that. They've been doing it for like 9 years straight or something like that. So maybe let it breathe, do some other stuff, and then maybe make a Dark Souls 4. You know, everyone get excited for a new Dark Souls again. But anyway, at number 4 is Dark Souls 3. Really had a great time with it. Or number 4, I'm sorry. Number 4 is Dark Souls 3. Okay. Yeah, number 4. Okay. So at number 3, this is a game that Steven harped on me for, I don't know, the better part of a year to play. And finally I threw it in. I was like, all right, I'm going to shut you up, throw it in. And I got completely, I just lost myself in this game. I couldn't believe how great this game was because the sort of parent series to the game, I'm kind of ambivalent towards. You know, I enjoyed them, playing some of them, but I was never really crazy about them. But this game and this series, because now there's going to be a sequel to this, I can't get enough of it. And it's probably because of my love of the Old West. But that game is Red Dead Redemption. Oh my god! Like I finally threw it in, played it. I don't even know where to begin with this. This was just a fantastic storyline, fantastic game. Enjoyed everything about it. Enjoyed exploring, you know, the Old West, going down to Mexico, and then going up to a more snowy, pine tree filled region. Just the vistas you go to, the characters you meet. All in all, this is a 10 out of 10 package. Like if you guys have not played Red Dead Redemption, you need to go out and get it. Steven, I apologize for ignoring you for so long on playing this. In fact, he bought me this copy when we were in Philadelphia. He got this for me at a Target. And the case was broke. We didn't realize that until after we bought it, but oh well, it doesn't matter. It's a greatest hits. Who cares? But anyway, I can't wait for Red Dead Redemption 2. Hopefully it will be just as good as this one. It's going to be a sort of a prequel. It takes place at least years before this. I don't know if it'll tie in or not, but yeah, I can't wait to play it. Fantastic game, guys. If you guys haven't got this and played it, you need to. You definitely need to. And that leaves the number 2 and the number 1 spot. And I might as well talk about both of these at the same time because they're both basically the number 1 and the number 2 spot is one huge game. And that is at number 2, we have Trails of Cold Steel 1. And at number 1, we have Trails of Cold Steel 2. Put these two games together. They were 70 hours each for me. That's 140 hours of some of the best JRPG gaming you will ever do in your life. These games are astounding. And I thought that Cold Steel 1, or not Cold Steel 1, second chapter was going to, be like the Trails of game that was the highest. But man, you get into Cold Steel, and you get into the characters and their motivations and the politics of the story that's going on. And Falcom really plans out their worlds. They know how to make a very believable political world. What was going on in these games is just mind blowing. The level of detail, and even so, the level of detail referencing like Trails in the Sky or the other Trails games that we haven't got yet, the Crossbell games. The references to those, it was just like astounding. Just the level of I imagine every time they make a Trails of game, they have to pull out this huge Trails of Bible and like look to make sure they're not contradicting themselves. The only weakness to the first game is the school setting. I just do not like games set in schools. Even the Persona games. I like the Persona games, but honestly, I just try to get through the school stuff as quickly as possible. But yeah, for some reason, Japanese love games set in schools. I personally do not care for it all that much. That is the only weakness to this game. The characters are fantastic, the storyline is interesting, and the graphics are great. The gameplay is awesome. I mean, it's almost the total package. And then you get to the number one game, and it is the total package because it removes the only weakness the game had, which is the school setting. And this one, my friend Senkai said it best when he was talking to me about it. He said it feels like an upgraded Super Nintendo game where they give you an airship and they just say, go. And that is what this game is. It takes you a while to get there, but then you just get to sort of explore the world freely, get to do it however you want. The storyline is even more insane. It just gets crazier and crazier and crazier. The characters get deeper. This is the way to do a sequel. They rarely do direct sequels in JRPGs because, I mean, you have this team of people saving the world from this big earth-shattering event, and then it's like, how do you have a bigger event than what you had in the first game? So it's kind of hard to send this group of people out on a new mission, but somehow Falcom knows how to do it, and just amazing. I really don't know what else to say, but if you guys need a JRPG to play, these are available also on, I want to say PS3. They might be on PS4. I can't remember if these are actually PS4 games or PS3 games, because I bought the Vita versions, obviously, so I don't really care. I do know that Trails of Cold Steel 3 will be a PS4 exclusive. Hopefully there'll be some way I can transfer my save from these to that. Yeah, I really can't say enough about the Trails of Cold Steel games. They really just blew me away. I cared about all the characters. I wanted to know more about all the characters. And I was just blown away by the depth of the world that Falcom created for these games. So anyway, at the number 2 and number 1 spot, Falcom walks away with it. Actually, they walked away with 3 of the top 5 spots. So if you don't know already, Falcom, if you see the Falcom name on a game, you're getting something quality. Ys, it's coming out here soon. Probably this year. Ys 8. But anyway, that is it for the games I played in 2016. There are a bunch that I missed out on. I didn't get Final Fantasy 15. I'm going to wait for it to get cheap. There are some other big releases that I didn't get last year. Some I got. What was it? I got Dragon Quest Builders, but I'm playing it now, so it'll be on 2017's list. I got Tales of Zestiria, but didn't put it in. Got Star Ocean, but didn't put it in. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of stuff to look forward to in 2017. I'm going to try to be better about playing backlog games, because I got games surrounding me that I need to play. I need to play these games, and I need to not so much buy new games when I have all these, not all of these, but a majority of these to play. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on this year, is trying to get some of the backlog done. I'm not doing a backlog challenge, because every time I do a backlog challenge, I just say, fuck it, I'm not doing that anymore, and play something else. But I am going to try to stick to just playing these games. And then when new releases get cheaper, I'll pick some of them. I definitely want to pick up Final Fantasy 15. I'm interested in Resident Evil 7, but I'm going to wait for it to get cheap so I don't, feel cheated, I guess. Nier, I want to get Nier. And, of course, I'm going to get Breath of the Wild. I'm going to get that on Wii U, though, not on Switch. But, yeah, we'll see what 2017 brings. Like I said, a lot of changes. I'm going to have a baby on the way in September, so I have to start being an adult and planning for that. So, that's going to affect pickups and things like that. But, at this point in my life, I don't really need to go out and buy a bunch of old Sega Saturn games or something like that. I got a good stack of games there that'll keep me entertained if I want to throw the Saturn on. I don't need to do all these retro collections anymore. So, anyway, guys, that is it for this video. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. You're not going to change the list, so don't, start acting like, if you yell at me enough that I'll change the list. That's the list. Make your own list if you really disagree with me. But let me know what you guys played, and if anything this year I missed out on that I should really try, because it's getting easy. It's getting easy in my old age to miss video game stuff. I'm not being as vigilant as I was like 3 years ago when I was doing nothing but checking video game news. A lot of my old interests like reading and listening to music, and I've been watching Deep Space Nine like over again. So that's my love of watching series television is coming back. So video gaming really still a big part of my life, but it's not as big as it was maybe 3 years ago when it was all I was doing. So it's good to have divested interests. It's good to be interested in other things. So anyway, guys, that is it for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. The podcast, we are going to try our damnedest to be better about doing episodes of the podcast. I'm going to try to be better about rounding those boys up and getting it done. Because I did get really lazy with it last year. And I was kind of waiting on them to, but I'm going to crack the whip this year. Steven, Chance, I'm cracking the whip. So the podcast, another gaming podcast, if you guys haven't checked us out yet, another gaming podcast. We're on YouTube. We're going to try to do more episodes. But anyway, like I said, I've been trying to end this video for like the last 3 minutes, so let's just go ahead and do it. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.